Manx Radio's 1 to 3, tended by Ramsey Garden Centre.
Debra Tracey from RB Creative. Some of you who've been listening to the show for a while will know Debra. We've had her on the show before. Teaches, creates art, predominantly working with glass but also natural materials as well. She's delivered a number of community art projects over the years. That's what we're going to talk about with her now, because this year a very important anniversary has inspired her latest community art project. Debs, from what you said to me, it all started with a Christmas fair with a man in a fleece and one of your students.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Okay, last summer, I've just asked one of my students, what should I add to my range? Give me some ideas. And Amanda Cooper said, do you know it's the 200 years anniversary next year of the RNLI? And I went, I did not know that. So that planted the seed. So it was at the Pillbash Christmas Fair last year, and this gentleman came up with a fleece. I'm going, is that just for show, or are you part of the RNLI? I mean, he could have just gone, how rude, but he went, well, actually, we get chatting, and it started off, I might think of a design to do, and of course, you know what I'm like, the words come out without the brain getting engaged, and I went, wouldn't it be great if we had a community mosaic that everyone get involved in? And we went, yeah. So the next thing, lots of interviews. We went along, and that's where I met you, Ruth. And we applied to the Arts Council, and they went, yes. So got some dosh to put it on. So here we are. Just at the start, I'm still formulating the project, but there's going to be a 4-foot by 8-foot community mosaic at Port St Mary.
Fantastic. And you've already got some schools involved, haven't you?
I know, and it's obviously limited to the number of participants that we can have, but so far we've got, so you might put me up on this one, Sculpture.
Not bad.
Not
Sculpture Lamora. Pretty good, Debs. I'm impressed.
Russian Primary. We've got the Older People's Mental Health Unit with the dementia group. We've got a few other groups that were waiting for confirmation. Southern Befrienders are on board. So I want a real inclusive mix, all ages, all abilities. And I've got a few groups that I'm still waiting confirmation of that, I can have a real diverse mix. So there's a couple of other groups that, if you're out there and you want to be considered for joining, if you want to drop me an email or, through Facebook. But I'm also going to have maybe 3 or 4 workshops where the local community can get involved as well. Just small groups, about 8 at a time. But just email me and I'll talk you through it.
So you can be part of this lasting legacy,
yes,
which is amazing. And we'll come to it in a moment to find out what that means for the RNLI itself. But how does it actually work then if you take part? How do you create part of this mosaic?
Right, so what I've got to do is, it's like an iceberg. I'm like the 2/3 at the bottom now, I'm thinking, right, I've got to sort the design out, and the major part of the design, because we chatted with the RNLI, and, it was important that they wanted the first boat, in the image, and the current boat. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice to have, say, like grayscale for the old boat in the background and then the new one in full colour, all in mosaic. So that's sort of going to happen. But I would also like people to be engaged in, give me some ideas of what other bits and pieces we can include on this, So I'm going to put something out on Facebook, on my Facebook page, so people can give me some ideas. And if I can incorporate them, I will do. And then I'll be organising groups, and it will be like a 3-hour workshop where people can come and put, their pieces together, and then I'm going to assemble it all as the big one.
So exciting. And when do you think it's going to be assembled? Have you got any ideas?
September. We're looking for the big launch.
September, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, fingers crossed on that one. Ruth, I mean, we just heard that you're a 30 under 30 through your work with the RNLI. First of all, tell us a bit about what you actually do.
So I'm involved with the fundraising side. I think when lots of people think about the RNLI as an institution, they will think of the crew dressed up in their yellows and going out on shouts, but there's so much work that goes in behind the scenes. The RNLI relies solely on donations, so it's really important that our fundraising events are successful. So we have a fundraising committee down in Port St Mary, and we run various events throughout the year, so quiz nights, car washes, which have been quite successful recently. So when Debra approached us and said we'd like to do something to involve the community, we were so delighted to have something down in Port St Mary.
And so presumably you've been part of organising various events since your time. How long have you been working with the RNLI?
So it's only been about 8 months that I've been the chair down there. But my family have had a long relationship with Portsmouth branch. My granddad was the coxswain and mechanic on the boat for many, many years. My grandmother was involved in the Ladies' Guild, as it was back in the day, on the fundraising side. So we've always had that relationship with the branch, Portsmouth branch in particular. Very quickly I discovered that I wasn't very good at sea. One of my biggest fears is deep water, and I get very seasick. So I thought, how can I help the RNLI that doesn't involve water? And fundraising was sort of the first thing that I got involved with, and I've never looked back.
Your family must be so proud of you. That's so lovely. So do you have any memories of your grandfather going out on call then?
No, he was did that before I was born, but many stories that he told us. I always sort of thought my granddad was a hero, and I wanted to be like him. Many people in the branch, on the crew actually, were trained by my grandfather. And have many stories to tell. So it's been so nice hearing stories that I haven't heard before, and seeing pictures of him on the lifeboats. So it's been so lovely to look back on those times, but also look forward to the future of the Portsmouth branch and the RNLI as a whole.
That's so lovely. And so this year is actually very important to you as well, personally. The fact it's the 200th anniversary. So what does it mean to you, yourself, and also with Portsmouth Mary, having this mosaic, this lasting legacy created?
I think it's so important to start a conversation about the RNLI. Obviously, we're an island surrounded by water, so water safety is a really big priority for us, but also getting the word out that you don't have to be a crew member if you want to help with the RNLI. There's so many other roles that you can do. So it's really opened my eyes up, particularly on the fundraising side, to event planning, marketing, so many jobs that you wouldn't even think of, particularly with this community project that we've got involved with. I mean, a year ago we wouldn't have thought that this would come about in Portsmouth Mary, so yeah.
And as we've been talking about here on Manx Radio, the fact that the RNLI started here, I mean, that is extraordinary when you think of hundreds of thousands of lives, if not more, that have been saved through the work of the RNLI around the world. I mean, it's kind of incredible that we started it, really, isn't it? Yeah,
so the RNLI is the birthplace of the RNLI is the birthplace, and Sir William Hillary was a Douglas man himself. He lived here and saw many shipwrecks around the island and thought, we can't carry on like this, we need to form some kind of institution. It came about many years later to form some sort of RNLI institution that had branches up around Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland and of course the Isle of Man. So I think it's so important to recognise that history and the heritage and the stories that have been told and shared this year, but to kind of keep that momentum going. Do
you know what? It's so lovely listening to you speak so passionately and eloquently about this. It really is. And Deb, it must mean so much to you as well, hearing her speak like this and knowing that you are creating something that will keep this memory going.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe in serendipity, and I think that's what it was. And we need everybody to know that it was really born here on the Isle of Man. How important it is that everybody should be jumping around being really excited about it. It's fabulous.
It is incredible. And I remember there's that fabulous programme, isn't there, the BBC do with the Saving Lives at Sea. And I tweeted them one point saying, it's great to see this, all started on the Isle of Man. And when they retweeted it, I was thinking, isn't that amazing? And I thought, well, actually, no, it makes sense because it did start here. Yes. This is extraordinary that it all started on this tiny island. So what a wonderful thing you are doing, making this mosaic, and what wonderful things you are doing, Ruth, in fundraising for this fabulous charity. Just let people know then, Debs, how they can be part of your mosaic.
Obviously there are limited spaces, but if people want to express an interest, if they just email me through the website, I'll be creative, or on Facebook, and then I'll get back to them, and just look out on social media. And again, thanks to the Arts Council and for funding it, and IFGL for their kind contribution as well, and for the RNLI for accepting this mad woman coming along with this idea.
We cannot wait to see it. We really can't. And Ruth, if you were saying as well, well. Obviously, you're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah.
How do people help you guys?
So if anyone would like to get in contact with our social media on our Facebook page or our social media pages and let us know that you're interested, as I mentioned, there are so many roles that you can get involved with, either on our committee, or if you'd like to volunteer at our fundraising events in the future, then we'd be more than happy to welcome you to our meetings and to our committee. And just if you want to learn about the history of the RNLI, not just in Portsmouth Mary, but all over the Isle of Man and the UK and Ireland, then come along and we'll happily get pictures out, share some stories with you all. So.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you both so much for being with us this afternoon. It's a wonderful project and it's great to hear your story as well, Ruth. All the best for 30 Under 30.
Thank you.
I played Dua Lipa for Ruth. What would you like to hear, Debs?
Do you have a little bit of Imelda May, perhaps?
I think we can do that for you.
Thank
this
you.
is a great tune. Have a safe TT if you're out and about. Enjoy yourselves and do keep us posted on the project, Debs.
Well, thanks so much. Thank you.
Manx Radio's 1 to 3, tended by Ramsey Garden Centre. Pick up your new all-season loyalty card in-store today and start collecting reward points.